Morning, everyone. Very happy to report many of the milestones Harmony and the ecosystem have done in Q3. This quarter, both the protocol team and our product DeFi team have made significant progress for many of the milestones that we have planned, as well as deliverables that each team member can claim that we have made many tools, many of the user engagement possible. Starting with the protocol team, not only we have now put the stream sync on the testnet, it's ready to be launched in Q4 now. The team has been doing the preparation for all the testing, metrics gathering. So we know it's actually really performance ready, stability possible for the mainnet without even the hard fork. We have been doing this sync improvement over the years, and stream sync is the last milestone that we can significantly improve the archival snapshots so that we know it's a long-term sustainable way of maintaining a large network. The second feature of transient storage is just as important for many of the application developer, and we have launched an EIP with great implementation from the protocol team that are really being tested now to be launched. Two other important EIP for showing the historical state, historical hash in the state, as well as be able to do the new BLS curves. These are some of the new improvements along with the EVM upgrades that we have been planning again over many quarters. But now with the Ethereum have done the upgrades, we are not only catching up, but be able to know what are the important EIP that we also would feature in our mainnet. We are very glad that both the governance as well as many of the DevOps tools has been in place now. Not only we can do snapshot, we've done lots of customization to enable both the governance to vote for the recovery, to vote for the quorum on the different validator initiatives that we have been driven from the validator, as well as the general people that want to engage with the recovery to be voting, doing the governance, but also participating in the way that are on-chain, that really start with the talk forum, with the proposal, and then now go on to managing asset for all kind of initiatives. On the DeFi side, I'm very involved now day to day with helping also the progress of what are the long-term strategy that we've been saying the user will be very excited to really be using blockchain, not only for the first time with the Bitcoin asset that they have, but also over long term, how they manage their wealth, how to create a vault, doing delegation, and now understand the entire strategy when they're providing the liquidity. The particular milestone that I'm very excited to report is now the trading bot is in production and making great return. We have yet to analyze, to understand in different market conditions, as well as with different other bots, how sustainable it is over the long term. That's why it's still an internal testing. That's why we are only using the internal capital. But I strongly believe these are the long-term product that Harmony can bring to our users, but also to the world. Again, this strategy is about using a volatile asset, but also a dollars pair that will provide liquidity either on one side or both sides, but to understand how to hedge it in the market condition. We've been analyzing this strategy, starting with the stablecoin at the beginning of the year, but also be able to test it on different networks, including Sonic and now Base, and understanding how that will be over a long term, different asset, different vaults, other delegated vaults actually operate in production. So we have done both the analysis in backtesting as well as collecting all the past block data to actually understand how wallet in the production from other vendors operate, but also be able to do monitoring with our bot in real time in the production. Both has to be true so that we can test a different strategy back in the time, but also understand what are the problems, what are the market conditions in real time. The fact that now we are able to do it in production with multiple platforms and multiple chains, not only Sonic and Base, and hopefully later on bring it back to Harmony across chain hub, but be able to do it with multiple platforms that do hedging as well, including Deribit, Hyperliquid, and Bitcoin, all the asset price API. These are really not only the future, but many of the large liquidity providers has already been doing it at a large scale professionally and provide service for the most sophisticated investors. For us and for ourselves as well and our users, it's not about how sophisticated it is, but be able to provide what are the first principle way of making return in DeFi, in blockchain. The minimum is be able to swap and be able to provide liquidity, and later on understand that it's a leverage position, it's very similar to lending. These are the principles that I've been learning over the years that I finally felt there's a product that not only we can use it ourselves, but it will be usable for many people. In particular, be able to understand how the fees are being calculated over from the beginning of genesis of the block to now all the way to how each of the liquidity provider positions, what are the actual return, accounting for the in and out of liquidity, accounting for when you are stake, you earn different amount of fees, and when you are delegated to a vault, there are performance fees attracted, turn out to be far more complicated than we expected. I would say all of the analytic tools out there do not calculate them properly. So we've been using Dune, we've been using Nysen, we've been using every available tools out there, but finally we are running our own base node with the full data of archival, but also decode each of the contract and understand each of the transaction trace to be fully understanding what are the fees calculated, how are different, even Flash LP, be able to put money in and out just within blocks of time to be provided liquidity and earning the trading fees, how are the long-term sticking affect the fee earning when the reward tokens are volatile. These are many things. Of course, it's not only complicated, but need to be verified in multiple ways. And we have all teammates doing both independently, using each other's code, verifying with external tools. So we're taking it for a very serious and extensive and comprehensive program to make sure that these are the product that we not only believe in, we are the best of the class, but also long-term that will be our advantage. On the actual production side of running the bot, we have also deployed it to be earning like good return, but we don't know yet until we have a comprehensive way of calculating the return in different market conditions and compared to different other bots. The great thing is we learned that there are multiple strategies that are possible to be profitable. Both looking at what are some of the Flash LP, what that means is you are only providing liquidity in a short amount of time, not within the same block, but be able to be even with a sequencer within close enough of a block time so that you are limiting your impermanent loss exposure. There are many ways that have been very sophisticated and very few blog posts or even videos, podcasts, and DeFi tools that actually talk about it, understand it, even with the research that provide the theoretical framework, but now we finally understand. We have done all the great preparation work both in the theoretical understanding, but also understand that on the first principle that it is always possible to make great return this way. When I say possible, I meant that not only that you are earning a swap fees, you are taking the risk of impermanent loss there, so there's a reward for that risk taken, and to do market neutral, to be able to do proper hedging is very elaborate work of value that we know that it will be not only usable, valuable, but very profitable over many years to come. Overall, I want to bring back our effort of the team, but also how the community is engaging. At the end, it is really how the team is still very excited to work on both the protocol, and we have many Q4 plans that features out so that we have a strong year to finish on the protocol side, but also on the DeFi side, on the governance side, on the recovery side that I want to tell you. Over the last many quarters, myself have been looking into many AI tools, understanding how DeFi agents are possible to work. Now agentic flow is very possible to integrate for financial understanding, analysis, but also now with even like DeFi use cases. I've been looking into different robotics and fitness use cases, but DeFi and this particular DeFi product with Bitcoin LP Hedge is the entire focus of the team. So I want to tell you that the team doing great work, but also very glad that you as a community still with us to think about the future of Harmony and blockchain. Thank you again. Have a great quarter.
Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well today. I wanted to share a few Q3 highlights from the team. You'll also be hearing more about our protocol ecosystem and governance updates in a few of the other videos this quarter. So for many of us on the team, this quarter was about building the foundation to understand strategies for liquidity providers in decentralized exchanges at a very fundamental and very detailed level, and how to create the tools and the systems that will allow for a more predictable and sustainable yield generation in these platforms while managing and hedging out the impact and costs of impermanent loss, which we know is a feature that is in almost all of the automated market making DeFi platforms. So we have been studying the CBBTC USDC pool on Aerodrome as our first testing ground, and this will scale to almost any other automated market maker on any Ethereum virtual machine compatible blockchain. And our team has been developing the tools to accurately collect the data at the blockchain level, understand all the transactions that have happened and how they're designed and built, understand how the fees are generated and how they compare to impermanent losses at each transaction level, at each token ID level. So we want to be able to track each action of a strategy and to clearly analyze the performance of that strategy per transaction and or per block level. So our team has built, we are in the process of building the analytical tools that are needed for this level of tracking. And we've also deployed our initial version of our own bot that is collecting live data, and both of which will help track how our strategy behaves and to compare that with the other wallets on the platform and to learn from the different ways in which other wallets and other players are deploying their strategy. So at each of the steps, we have been cross-validating the data with other valid data sources such as Dune, subgraphs, and even by running our own node on the network. And we have also built a few other tools, such as a timeline tool that can track the activity of all wallets on a decentralized exchange. So that gives us the ability to study the data and the patterns across different wallets on the entire platform. And it will help us validate and verify the activities of our own wallets and any other wallet that we are looking at. And we've been using all these tools both to verify and understand what our strategy is doing, but also to study the different ways that liquidity providers can optimize their fee and earnings by using various ways to provide liquidity, both in how it is being concentrated at different times with different BTC price and in the duration in which the liquidity is being deployed. We've also been studying ways to hedge impermanent loss using perpetuals and or options as a way to manage the overall position to be as close to neutral or delta neutral as possible with in relation to the exposure to the best asset as possible. So again, this also scales to not just BTC, but in the future it could be other assets as well. It's the same strategy can apply. So we still have many other strategies to study, for this quarter is about building the right foundation so that we can verify actually each step using our tools to be able to handle even more complex strategies and have a clear understanding of what they're all actually doing, even at a per transaction, per block level. Looking ahead, we'll continue to deepen this understanding, focus on connecting the learnings that we get from the different analytical tools and from our bot, and start to develop more our viewpoint on what are sustainable, repeatable strategies. And then we have already started to, but we'll continue to test the right approach and develop it into something that we think can be a repeatable, sustainable strategy for liquidity providers across any on-chain decentralized exchange or decentralized finance platform. A lot of updates from this quarter, and we'll have much more to learn in the future. Thank you.
All right, jumping right into Q3, we will cover protocol updates, governance improvements, recovery efforts, and then finally our BTC strategy updates. On the protocol side, we've built important internal tooling, which includes a real-time dashboard that shows the stream sync health and cross-link messages, and also a view for 1 second finality so we can see real block creation and validation times end to end, which helps with performance fixing and also make sure that all our improvements are verified. As a reminder, 1 second finality, even sub-second finality, has been achieved on DevNet, and we are continuing testing to ensure resilience as we move forward. Stream sync kept improving. It's stable on DevNet and now running on testnet. On the upgrade side, we made progress on key Ethereum proposals, enhancing the Ethereum and Harmony connection, EIP 2537, built-in support for a newer digital signature, so certain checks are faster and cheaper. That has been implemented and merged. EIP 2935, easy on-chain access to past blocked hashes, which helps wallets tools stay in sync, has been implemented and is awaiting final merge. And then EIP 1153, temporary storage that clears after transactions, lowering fees and reducing unnecessary data, has been implemented on DevNet. And then finally, for the protocol, the London fork is live on testnet after successful DevNet runs. As always, the progress is all open source and can be tracked on our YouTube, our X, and then as well as the Harmony GitHub. For governance updates, we recently launched the first version of the Harmony governance platform, a return to Harmony's original voting flow. It uses a two-step quorum that matches how Harmony governance works, which is actually different from what previously Snapshot enabled and offered. The new platform gives delegators more of a choice during voting rather than previous validator lock-in. There's a support for hybrid on and off-chain processes and lets validators vote via CLI. For Q4 updates, we're looking to potentially add the validator opt-in and opt-out flags. We may have to include a threshold like a 33% stake weight minimum to ensure voting integrity. The goal again for all of this is more participation and faster, clearer outcomes. To explain the voting process a bit further, the return is to the original Harmony process of validators voting, and then delegators are able to point and direct their delegation based on if they agree with the validator or not. Previously with Snapshot, that was locked in, so when you first voted, no matter what your validator voted, even if you moved your delegation and you disagreed, you weren't able to have a voice. So now with the new platform, that is returned. Now for recovery proposals, we're working with the community and validators on accelerated recovery proposals. Notable ones include Think and Coin's recovery swap aggregation at dex.country and Cryptoland DAO's CLD recovery at rug.cryptolanddao.com with a finalized proposal set planned for Q4. You can track progress at utilitydao.one/recovery and of course chefsoysauce.io, and then go to the Harmony projects. Finally, our BTC strategy, what the team has been continuing to work hard on. This quarter, we continued our push towards treasury sustainability. We went back to the basics with liquidity pools, analyzing millions of transactions and wallet behaviors, and learned from top performers, looking at both profits and risk. Our internal results show about 40% base yearly returns, and that's before compounding. The next steps include finishing validation and launching the strategy fully internally, then opening it up to the ecosystem for participation via vaults so the community can have direct yield access, but as well have the sustainable yield be deployed across the ecosystem. So that's Q3. We've continued to improve on the previous quarter's initial discoveries, double down on sustainable yields, especially with the depth that we've gone in Q3 for Bitcoin, and continued making important protocol upgrades. Look out for updates from Elena as we ship the next checkpoints on our BTC strategy, protocol improvements, and accelerated recovery.